In World War II, some of the most powerful weapons were not bombs, they were documents, locked inside safes, hidden in code, buried in archives. And some of them could have changed the course of history. World War II was a global catastrophe. Over 70 million people died, entire cities vanished, nations collapsed. Most people won't comment. If this surprised you, type what shocked you the most. Like it, so this story doesn't die here. Subscribe, because the next one will hit even harder. But behind the explosions and battlefield strategies, another war was being fought. A silent war of intelligence. Leaders were drowning in information-intercepted messages, scientific reports, diplomatic warnings. The problem wasn't always a lack of intelligence. Sometimes, it was what they did with it. Because declassified records show that in multiple moments during the war, key governments had access to information that could have shortened the conflict, possibly by years. The tragedy? They didn't act in time, or they chose not to. Imagine reading your enemy's secret messages while your ships are still being sunk. That actually happened. At Bletchley Park in England, a group of mathematicians cracked Nazi Germany's Enigma code. This intelligence program, known as Ultra, allowed the Allies to read high-level German military communications. They knew submarine positions in the Atlantic. They knew troop movements. They even had early hints about strategic plans. So why didn't the war end sooner? Because using that intelligence came with a deadly risk. If Germany realized their code was broken, they would change it, and the Allies would lose their greatest advantage. So leaders made a chilling calculation. They allowed certain attacks to happen, not because they were blind, but because protecting the secret was more important. Thousands died to preserve a long-term strategic edge. Information existed, but strategy overruled emotion. Years before the atomic bombs fell, one letter quietly changed the direction of the war. In 1939, Albert Einstein signed a letter warning that Nazi Germany might be developing an atomic weapon. The letter was sent to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. That single document triggered what became the Manhattan Project, a $2 billion effort to build the world's first atomic bomb. But here's the twist. By 1944, intelligence suggested Germany's nuclear program was nowhere near completion. The fear that launched the atomic race may have been based on incomplete assumptions. If American leaders had known earlier that Germany was far behind, would the bomb have been developed at the same speed? Would it have been used on Japan? Would the Cold War have unfolded the same way? History didn't change because the document was wrong. It changed because leaders believed it was urgent. Perception shaped reality. Information alone doesn't win wars. Interpretation does. Throughout World War II, three patterns kept repeating. First, confirmation bias. Leaders often trusted intelligence that matched their expectations. Second, strategic secrecy. Some truths were hidden, even from allies, to protect long-term advantages. Third, political pressure. Decisions weren't just military, they were diplomatic and economic. When intelligence hinted at Japanese aggression before Pearl Harbor, warnings existed, but they were fragmented, misunderstood, or underestimated. When Ultra revealed German plans, actions were carefully calculated to avoid exposing the codebreakers. Every major power had documents that could have shifted outcomes, but information without decisive clarity becomes noise. The comeback. The Allies ultimately built something more powerful than weapons. They built intelligence infrastructure, coordinated code-breaking, scientific collaboration, and strategic deception. Germany relied heavily on centralized control. The Allies relied on adaptive networks, and networks proved stronger. Final learning. Here's the deeper truth. The world is not changed by secrets. It is changed by decisions made under uncertainty. Some documents during World War II had the power to shorten the war, save millions, and reshape global power. But leaders had to choose between immediate action and long-term strategy. Sometimes they chose correctly. Most people won't comment. If this surprised you, type what shocked you the most. Like it, so this story doesn't die here. Subscribe, because the next one will hit even harder. Sometimes they didn't. And that tension between knowing and acting still defines global power today. Because even now, somewhere in a classified archive, there may be a document that could change the future. The real question is, when the next world-changing document appears, will we recognize it? And will we act differently?